Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Today we'll talk about some resume writing tips. It's not just for professional, but especially for students who are trying to seek for internship opportunities while they are studying. I'll also talk about aspiring students who are trying to come from India to the United States and what my thoughts are regarding the same. So very useful content not just for professionals but also for students. So watch this video until the end and let's get started. If you are here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration and lifestyle related videos for US and Canada. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say about the immigration in this video or on my channel is for information purpose only. And for your specific immigration needs, you should always hire a competent immigration lawyer. Now do check out the links in the description because those are affiliate links. And while you are down there, hit the like button because if I get certain number of likes, I will start a new giveaway. Now let's proceed to the topic of this video. So now is the season where a lot of students are applying for their internship opportunities. So they may be studying in the STEM or non-STEM areas. Now while they are studying, sometimes they are required to do some work in terms of internship. Now finding an internship when you don't have any much of an experience is really a tricky situation, and the first thing that you want to focus on is your resume, because you are building your experience while you are working at your projects at your school or university, but at the same time you also need some guidance on how to represent that on your resume, because a lot of these companies are getting inundated with thousands of resumes per day. How can your resume stand out from it? So here are few tips that I would like to give you, and these tips are general tips and those are based on my experience doing the hiring for several different companies. I continue to do so to this date and I participate in interviews as well. So these are my personal tips on this resume writing. Now the first tip I want to share is the number of pages that your resume should be. Now this is a vastly debated topic, but my personal opinion is your resume should not be more than 1 page. There are some instances where your resume can be up to 2 pages, but I will come to that. But because companies are getting so many resumes on a daily basis, they don't have time to go through pages and pages of resumes. I have seen in my career where the resumes were as long as 10 to 12 pages. Some people like to write their life history in the resume, but that is not required, or that is not going to be useful at all, because the amount of time that HR manager or the hiring manager will spend on your resume is few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes. If they don't like it on the first instance, your resume will be set aside and they will be on to the next one. So you want to represent your best on your first page, because that is the page that will keep the hiring manager interested in you. So put everything on 1 page, and I will go through the structure in a minute, but 1 page is the ideal size of your resume. Now what instances do you add a second page? A second page should be added in case you have some additional information that you would like to share with the resume, such as an important project that you have done that is in the benefit of the company. Now the project description and your awards and recognitions need not be on the first page. They could be on the second page. If you want to elaborate on some aspect of your experience, that can be elaborated on the second page, but your first page should contain your skills, your experience, your relevant experience to the job, and so on. So that is the first point I wanted to cover. Now the second point, what format? I have seen resumes in so many different formats, and while no format is wrong as long as it gives the relevant information, my personal opinion is your resume should always be in the Word format, or at the most a PDF format. PDF seems a little bit of a restrict, and in my personal opinion it reveals a little bit of a personality that you want to keep things controlled, but that's just me. I would say a Word format is the best format that you can send your resume. Don't worry about people changing your resume, because that's not going to go anywhere, because your personal resume is going to be specific to you. If people reuse it for other purpose, it's their prerogative. And not to say that PDF can't be copied either. People, if they wanted to copy your resume, they can do so from PDF as well. So I would stick to Word format for the resume. Now the third point I wanted to make is the structure of the resume. Now the structure of the resume is such a way that you want to please your audience or please your hiring manager. It should be legible, it should be clean, it should not be too cluttered. My personal opinion is not too much of a tabular format, because tabular format gives you a sense as if you are presenting an annual report or something like that. In my opinion, there can be a certain structure and this is how it can look like, but it should have different sections in a flow format. Sometimes when I see the resumes in a tabular format, I don't know what is the navigation flow. Should I be going top to bottom or sideways and continue that way? Things like that. You don't want it to be like a newspaper format either. So my personal opinion is it should be a simple structure that has a flow from top to bottom. Now fourth point is, and this might be a little bit nitpicking, is the location. At the top you should have your name always represented, because the resume reader wants to know what is your name at the very top, and then your location is also important. So many times I have seen, and nowadays since people are working from anywhere, one would argue that what is the point of noting on the location. It is important in many cases because I want to know if the person is in the same geographical area that the company is, and the reason that is relevant is because we want that person to be working in the same time zone for the meetings purpose. Now if your job can be remote and located anywhere, then this point doesn't matter. But for vast majority of the job profiles, I think a location, if you don't want to specify your address, at least the city name. If you don't want to reveal the city name, at least the name of the state that you reside in can be helpful from the hiring manager's perspective. That's just my opinion. Now the fifth point I wanted to mention is highlight the skills that you want to showcase, and those also in the relevance to the job that you are applying. Now I have seen so many resumes that has laundry list of every technology under the sun represented in the resume. Now the reader or the hiring manager will be 100% confused if you have everything in the world on your resume. Now I know people want to impress the hiring manager with showing most of the skills that they have seen, and if you genuinely have those skills, list them out by the level of expertise. It can be expert level, medium or intermediate level, or a beginner level, and this is not a negative point. This helps the resume reader to know where your strengths lie. And there is no problem stating some of the skills as a beginner level, because nobody is perfect in everything. You can be a jack of all trades, but you want to emphasize what are you master of. So you want to specify those 4 or 5 skills that you have mastery in, and the other ones that you have some experience but may not be relevant. So this is a very important point. Now the point number 6, I want to also emphasize that focus on the skills that are relevant to the job that you are applying. Also focus on the experience that is relevant to the job that you are applying, because you don't want to spend the resume real estate explaining how your experience was at a library or at a McDonald's, because if you are applying for a project management job, that's the experience you want to emphasize in your resume. So your resume should be catered, or it should be modified for the job that you are applying. And that means if you have to shorten or even eliminate some of the aspects of your job, that is fine, because those are not going to be relevant anyways. And that was my point number 8, that shorten the resume, only keep the relevant job experience, or just shorten the experiences or projects that are not relevant to the job that you are applying. Now another point I see in a lot of resumes is people hide the time frame when they worked at a certain job or on a certain project. Now this may be trivial for you when you are writing a resume, but sometimes it puts a doubt in the mind of the reader. It feels like you have written such a nice description of a project, but when did you do that project? Was it a recent project or was it 10 years back? So if you don't write the duration or the timeline of that project, then it feels like you're trying to hide something, and that's not what you want to convey through your resume. So as far as possible, put month and year of the job when you started and when you finished, or at least the duration and how far back it was. That will be helpful in a resume. Now the next point is your education and certification generally should be at the bottom of the resume. Now, unless you are in an industry such as educational, or you are applying for a job at a university as a professor, then your education credentials might be extremely important and they can go at the top of the resume. But in the rest of the categories, you might want to put that at the bottom, because people are mostly interested in your skills and your experience, and education and certifications can be added information that they can always see at the bottom of the resume. And this is my personal preference. Now, another point I wanted to emphasize is when you are writing about your job experience at several different companies or the projects, don't write it in a lengthy paragraph format. You just have 2 to 3 sentences of every job that are extremely important or relevant to the job that you are applying. So say for instance, you have run a very big program, you write program management activities, or if you are a software architect, write simple statements in 2 or 3 sentences. What did you develop? What did you architect that was helpful for the company? Anything longer than that, it becomes very hard to read and nobody is going to read it, to be honest. And you can always elaborate about it at the time of the interview or during the interview process. Your resume does not need to contain everything that you are going to say. And then the last point I wanted to emphasize, and this applies specifically to the students who are applying or even in the professionals that are applying, is a career statement or an aspiration statement. Now, career statement applies to professionals or experienced individuals who are looking for a job, where you want to specify that you are an expert in such and such skills, and this is the kind of job that you are looking for as your next job. While the students may be saying something along the lines that you aspire to become a data engineer or a data scientist and contribute such and such experience from your projects to the companies. So the career summary statement or an aspiration statement at the top will leave an interviewer reader with a very good impression of your resume, because they will quickly get what you have and what you aspire to be. So these were my tips for resumes for experienced people or for students who are looking for internship. Let me know in the comment section below if I have missed out anything or if you disagree with me on any of those points. Now, I also wanted to talk about few points about people who are in India or any other country and aspiring to come to the United States. Now, if you specifically belong to India or China or backlog countries from the employment based category, you got to understand that if you are aspiring to live permanently in the United States, your path could be very long unless you have specific skills and experience that will qualify you for exceptional capabilities such as EB1 category. But if not, for a vast majority of the people, 95% or 99% of the people, your pathway to the green card or citizenship in the United States from the backlog country is going to be very long. So when you start your journey from coming from India to the United States for student, you want to think about that aspect as well. If you plan to study and then come back and do your startup business in India, then that's a fantastic opportunity. I would highly recommend doing that. US education system, depending on where you study, is incredible, and I think you should take it if you get an opportunity, and then you can bring it back and start your own idea or a business or a startup. That is excellent. But if you plan to stay extended period of time in the United States, there is a pathway where you can complete your studies. You can get up to 3 years of OPT if you are in the STEM program, and then you will have to find a non-immigrant visa such as H1B, which is, by the way, a lottery. You cannot be guaranteed to get the H1B in the first attempt. It may take you multiple attempts to get your first H1B. Once you get an H1B, you will need a company that will be willing to sponsor your green card, and that green card process, depending on what pathway you take, can be extremely lengthy. So keep these pointers in mind before you plan to move to United States. So I know for sure that some of you are interested in stock trading, day trading, buying cryptocurrencies. I want to present you Webull. Webull is a trading platform. It allows you to buy stocks, it allows you to buy options, do options trading, and also it allows you to buy cryptocurrency. It can be done on the computer or on the mobile app. Now, if you use my link, which is on the screen and also in the description, you will get some free stocks. Webull has announced that it will give 12 free stocks if you use my link, and those free stocks will be valued up to maximum of $30,600. So when you open an account using my link, you will get 2 free fractional share stocks. That value could be anywhere between $3 to $300. If you deposit at least 1 penny, you will get 4 to 10 free additional stocks valued from $7 to $3,000. So that's 12 stocks from Webull free for you if you use my link, and enjoy your free stocks. Now put down in the comment section below if you want me to elaborate on any of these points, and I will be happy to make a video out of it. So that's all I wanted to say in this video. If you like the content of this video, do hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.